Welcome to the latest from Hearts Standard. My name is Joe Sked, and I am here for another, hopefully, brief solo podcast. Craig is off, and Scott McIntosh is going to join me tomorrow, i.e. Thursday, ahead of the Dunfermline game. But since it was the first pre-match press conference of the season this afternoon, I thought it would be only right to record since we've not done one since Saturday. Before we get into it, of course, if it's time to hand in your transfer request, then head over to s1jobs.com and upload your CV today. With thousands of jobs across Edinburgh and our surrounding area, you'll find the one at S1 Jobs. Start your search today. I actually meant to do that introduction a wee bit further down, so I actually talked about what I was going to talk about today, but it's done now. I'm not going to do it again. I think they'll pay us for one read. A few things have happened since the last video at the weekend, so I thought I'd just do a kind of grab bag of reaction to all the things that have happened over the last 3 days. There's been quite a few things, but we'll start with today in the press conference and kind of work the way back. McInnes, of course, as head coach, spoke with the press today, as did Lawrence Shankland. I'm recording this at 7 o'clock, but by the time I put out, one of the bits of news will have been made public. That's around the two signings. But before we get to that, the big news that's already out there, and it's good news, is Jamie McCart's injury. I think it's ankle, I'm sure, is not as bad as first feared. There's ligament damage, but after a bit more, what did we kind of say, investigation from the surgeon, they realised they probably didn't have to do any kind of surgery or major work. So he was going to miss 3 months, but McInnes thinks it's going to be half of that. He suggested 4 to 6 weeks. I'd imagine the higher scale of that, but the good news is it won't be 3 months. It won't require any major work, and it's hoped that it will kind of heal it'll heal naturally. It's hoped also that he'll only miss probably 2 or 3 league games, because they've got the League Cup games. You'll be out of the League Cup games, and then the start of the season, Hearts are home to Aberdeen, and then away to Dundee United. And then, if I'm not getting my dates mixed up, there's a League Cup game in between there as well on a weekend, provided Hearts get through the League Cup and the League Cup group stage. There's no nonsense that they're involved in. So yeah, he could be only missing a few games, which is a lot. Missing a few league games, which is a lot better than it looked like, and McInnes is understandably delighted, as is the player himself. He would have been in line to start against Dunfermline on Saturday, just due to Stuart Finley's suspension, just with him being the left-sided centre-back. So that'll be something that have to be decided, whether it is 2 of Halkett, Kent, Steinbender, or whether Stephen Kingsley, who will kind of, I think, float between centre back and left back, will come in one. But that's for further down the line. Meanwhile, Alexandra Kas, he's expected to return to training. On Friday ahead of the game. He wasn't risked in last night's friendly against 8-0 win against East Kilbride, just because against Crawley he took a dull one. There was a couple ones where he was not happy with the attention of some of the Crawley players, but I think one that had a lasting impact. I think McInnes was said that he came into training on Monday and it was still felt that it wasn't right to train, and then he didn't want to risk him in against East Kilbride, with the view that if it got knocked again, then it would potentially make him a doubt or just make him out of Dunfermline game. So he's been doing some work with the physio, and he will hopefully train on Friday with a view to making his competitive debut on Saturday. Now, I remember seeing him, because we were still doing work after the Crawley game. We're still doing work at the Hearts Hotel, when I had nipped to the toilet and walked past him, and he was limping, but I didn't really think, or not limping, maybe moving gingerly, but I didn't think much of it, just because he was walking exactly the same way I would walk after playing a game of fives. So just assumed professional footballers are like that after a competitive game of football, as the friendly was against Crawley. I alluded to another key takeaway, that which hasn't been embargoed. Well, it was embargoed, but the embargo's passed now, because it was embargoed for 8 p.m. this evening. But it's the update on the 2 prospective signings, so Sabah Kerjota and Pierre Landry Kabore. McInnes spoke how they are progressing. One, he said, I would imagine, or you assume it's Kerjota's in the country already. Kabore arrives in Edinburgh, or it's the other one. If I've got the wrong way around. So one's already in Edinburgh, and one's was set to arrive on Thursday. The way McInnes spoke was that Kerjota's a more straightforward deal to get done, just with the logistics, like the logistics involved in everything. He's more straightforward, where Kabore's probably won't be done and dusted until next week, it seems. But Kerjota, and then you flip it, I think Kerjota was probably going to need more time to get up to speed. He last played, I think I checked it earlier on, he's last played at the start of April in the Italian lower leagues, whereas Kabore has been playing in Estonia just with the nature of their season. So you've got Kerjota, who's making a big step up in level and has not played in a while. So he'll take time to get up to speed, dealing with just Scottish football in general, but getting minutes in his leg pre-season, etc., etc. Whereas Kabore's probably ready to come in and play. Well, there still need to be a period of adaptation. The McInnes suggested that Kabore, provided everything goes well, there's not any hiccups, could play or could make his debut a week on Saturday when Hearts play who are the League Cup? So it's Dunfermline this weekend, then it is Stirling during the week, and then it is want to say Hamilton away on this next. Yeah, Hamilton this. Dearie me. Hamilton this Tuesday, then Stirling Albion away on the Saturday the 19th, and then home at Dumbarton on Wednesday the 23rd. So yeah, it's that Stirling game that he could be in line to play in. But it's two positive signings. Two signings that McInnes wants to add to the squad, the profiles, more pace, more physicality, more width, and it makes the squad. It doesn't make the squad complete, but it gets the squad towards that end point that McInnes wants at the end of the summer transfer window, and especially before the start of the league season. Tom Irving's done a couple of has done analysis on both players, and they'll go up again, provided they sign. They'll go up after they have signed, and he saw a lot that he liked from him. He just thinks both, especially Kerjota's probably quite raw, and they'll need time to adapt. Kabore, I think he's very high on him being a centre forward, really providing Hearts with even more threat and pace through the middle. Whereas Kerjota, there is a comparison there which ticks a big box for me. I would just say, think of a previous Hearts winger who was quite fiery. So yesterday, I mentioned that yesterday Hearts played a pre-season friendly behind closed doors against East Kilbride, 8-0. I would imagine everyone's aware of it now. 7 different scorers. Cabango scored a couple. There'll be some McInnes reaction on that. They'll be on Hearts Standard on Thursday morning. But as you'd imagine, he was very pleased with what he saw, just in terms of how the team played in and out of possession, but also just getting minutes in the legs and getting players another 45 minutes. Sander Clark played the full 90 minutes. I wasn't at the game, but McInnes was right back in the first half. Again, there'll be some more stuff on that tomorrow. And James Wilson, I believe, was excellent again, continuing his really good start to just these good starts to the season and really positive pre-season. Someone that's came back and really looking to make even a bigger impact, that making that next jump, making that next start. Shankly missed a few chances, but just going by the match report. But the big thing is that a number of openings are being created, which is really, really good. I know it's pre-season, I know it's early on, I know it's against a team who've just been promoted to League Two, but it's better creating loads of chances than worried about creating chances, which was an issue last season. So I've been keeping an eye on the East Kilbride YouTube channel, because they have put the goals up, at least the goals up from their friendlies this summer. But as I check right now, makes for fantastic audio. It doesn't seem like they've put it on just yet, so keep an eye on that. But again, you've got a lot of the forward players getting in, scoring goals. Claudio Braga as well. He's not only scored, he created. James Wilson scoring, Kabangu scoring, Musa scoring a screamer, kind of cartoon Danda. It's positive and feeds into the confidence going into the season. That's and the start of the season on Saturday, which is really, really good. But the real stuff does start on Saturday, and that's when you can start making snap judgments, but also just starting forming opinions on how the team are looking. What I would say is that still early days. I think there'll be the team that starts the squad, or the team at the start of the league season, will be more advanced and different. And I think the squad team that will start the first game in September, again, will be on another level, advanced and step, because players are going to come, players are going to go. Speaking of players who have left, yesterday, Tuesday, saw Lewis Nielsen and Liam McFarlane go out on loan. Lewis Nielsen went to Falkirk, where he'll spend the season, and John McGlynn was delighted to get him. It was a move that I think this is a really good move for Lewis Nielsen. Staying in the Premiership, he can play regularly. That'd be massive, because it's a big year for him. He is in his final year of his contract. I think he would have to have a really, really good season to stake a claim to stay at Hearts. But it's also just individually, if he can show that he is a Premiership defender, then he'll have a number of options at the end of this, or even in January, where he's having to consider his future, and he can start speaking to teams about potential pre-contracts. So he'll be one to keep an eye on. Obviously, we'll be able to see him against Hearts, because I'd imagine the loan contract, as the vast majority are, you can't play against your parent club. But it's a good move from that he stays in the Premiership as long as he gets to play, and he'll be playing in a team who I'd imagine suit his attributes. And McGlynn seems really excited to get him, and hopefully McGlynn works with him, whether it's to help him have that Hearts career, or if it's to help him make the next step in his career after this season and his contract expires, if he doesn't extend. And then Liam McFarlane, he's gone on loan to Alloa Athletic. I'm just reading earlier on, just before I recording this, that the Andy Graham, Alloa's manager, has said that the goalkeeping position is up for grabs. The Wasps, they have the Nigerian goalkeeper Ogaye, who will be competing with Liam McFarlane for the number one spot. But yeah, again, it's a good move for Liam McFarlane. It's a step up, having done really well at League Two. He's now getting into League One, and there's that nice balance where he's playing for one of the bigger part-time clubs in the league. They'll be going for, at the very least, playoff positions. They only missed out on by 2 points last season. There's that expectation there, but also, and they'll be kind of expected to win, so there'll be that pressure and expectation, but he's still going to be training with Hearts. And I think that was a big thing for McInnes, was so he was able to see him up close, and again, form his own opinion. So with that part-time, he still gets that connection with Hearts, and also playing, hopefully, regular football and continuing that development after his really successful loan spell at East Fife last season. And only for 13 minutes, ideal. This is, I was planning, if we get this under 20 minutes, then I've been doing well to keep it brief and not yap. So the final bit was Monday night, was the Foundation of Hearts 90 minutes with Derek McInnes event, and I'm sure a lot of people have read about it on Jambo's Kickback, on social media, wherever, like in terms of all the different wee bits of information that he gave out. But just on the actual night itself, it was really positive night. There seemed to be a lot of like strong feeling within the room, excitement, optimism. And you've seen that with the fact that people were queuing up well before the doors opened. Then when it came to McInnes being introduced, there was lots of applause, real people standing up to applaud. McInnes made a note that he had not even won a game yet, which was accurate and amusing. And I thought that was he struck a really good blend of providing insight, giving his own opinion, for example, talking about the plastic pitches, and a bit of humour as well, and to add to the evening. I thought it came across really well in terms of what he said. I think I wrote about it yesterday. The two big things that going back to seeing the response after I wrote a piece about McInnes and why I thought he was the obvious candidate for the Hearts role, you could see that kind of two threads that not only Hearts fans were talking about, but fans of other teams, where we didn't work with a sporting director and style of play. And so the sporting director, he talked about Graham Jones and working with Graham Jones and how he's line manager, and it's important that they have that relationship, that they speak every day. Graham Jones is on holiday, but still McInnes will be speaking to him every day, because things in football, they're just constant. And Jamestown as well, you can kind of filter Jamestown in that, and like how he'd work with Jamestown, and he's really, really taken to it. Then on the flip side, I think this is probably something that resonated a lot more with people in the room, and you could hear it with the way some of his answers, the response to some of his answers. And it was a style of play, and that's something that's always been, it's something that McInnes has always been, not always been, but over a few years, been criticised for his style of play. Yet his style of play, what he wants is a team that plays forward, is aggressive, direct, has wingers, gets the ball in the box. And that's always how I've viewed what Hearts fans want to see, a team that doesn't just play sideways and plays forward. And he kind of mentioned that. I put in, I think it was Alan Meikle's tweet in the piece about how he was, McInnes had him trying to get like the goals at the other end of the pitch. So you want to get there rather than keeping it and just passing sideways. So I think that's really resonated, and I think that's ideally that's the type of football Hearts fans will get to see, especially at Tynecastle, where there is an expectation to, if you've not got the ball, then go get it back. If you have got the ball, go try and score, and don't give the opposition too much respect. Get in their face and make it very difficult for them. And I thought he expressed that side of things really well. There was a few questions. Rob asked one about the disrupt word and what that meant for him, and then there was a few questions from the audience, from the floor, that were similar but worded differently, just like kind of looking at the ambition and trying to get Celtic and Rangers. And I kind of jokingly said to a few people that there was a part of me that was thinking people were going to come away from Monday night thinking, walking into Cloud Street or Tiny Arms or whatever, just thinking we're going to win the league this season. But McInnes was right to temper it. But it wasn't an answer that lacked ambition. It was an answer in reality with a bit of ambition, in that let's do better than last season, finish third, get back into Europe, but also try and win some silverware, which should be absolutely brilliant. And that's something, again, that's been a criticism laid at McInnes from his time at Aberdeen, was despite all these second place finishes, getting them into Europe for like 8 seasons in a row, whatever it was, that he only won one League Cup. That was back in 2013, so still, or 2014, but still the last time Hearts won a cup was 2012. So if he can break his own duck and he can break his Hearts duck, then ideal. It'd be nice to be in the League Cup and finally put that voodoo to rest. But overall, I thought it was a really positive night, and I felt that it felt like a lot of people have gone from, well, it's gone from kind of a mixed view on McInnes from when he was first viewed as a candidate to now being quite a positive view of how the season ahead. People were like, yeah, I've liked what he said. I'm really going to, hope it goes well, give him time. And then I think anyone in the room at the foundation one was, I think their optimism and excitement of all was heightened a wee bit further, increased really a wee bit further. Seen a lot of people, or spoke to a lot of people, and they kind of talked about a proper Hearts manager. I mean, I can't quantify that. It's more to do with feeling, and you got that when the room that night. That there was just a real feeling that kind of everything's together at the moment. I know it's a small sample size. There was like 500 people there, but even just going on social media, that's how it feels, and hopefully that will translate to Saturday and going forward. And there's a real opportunity to really get off to a good start. And I think once you get that, start making that snowball and it starts gaining momentum, especially at Hearts, then it can really create something special to start the season. But again, won't know until the proper stuff starts on Saturday, which I think all of us are looking forward to. But I'll leave it there. I will put some links to some of the articles I mentioned in this piece in the description, whether you listen on a podcast or YouTube. I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who's subscribed to the YouTube channel. We've finally broken through the 3,000 subscriber mark, so hopefully we'll keep going up and up. If you have not subscribed, please do. If you know someone who likes hearts, you think they'll like what we talk about, then ask them to subscribe and maybe listen to one or two things. And also a big thank you to anyone who came up to myself or Craig on Monday and said some very kind words about Heart Standard or our podcast / YouTube. It was very nice, and it means a lot to us, and it's good to hear that people are listening and enjoying it. So that is really good to hear. But none of that birthday card pish. I will finish it there and say goodbye, and we'll be back very, very soon, i.e. tomorrow, all going well.